at me like I know what he's thinking, but I don't have a clue. True talent in avoiding conversation, yeah, it's almost rather cruel. Oh, I know he got me good in his pocket. I know that I'm used to treat. Well, the taste is bitter. Oh, go on, chewing my bones, and when he's done, he's spitting me out. I just can't help myself. One for the pain, no hesitation to...
Good evening, friends. Welcome to another episode of Let's Connect Show. Today, we're going to be talking about overlays. Our focus is going to be mostly around creating custom overlays within an app called, actually using an app called Canva. Canva is the online designing tool. And we're also going to look at overlay support within a live streaming app called Ecamm Live. Ecamm Live is the live streaming app that runs only on Mac environment. In fact, that is the app that I'm using today to go live. So our focus is around these two technologies, Ecamm Live and Canva, and how you can create overlays and custom overlays in general. All right, and if you're new to this show, please, a big shout out to you, and also use the comment box to let us know where you're from. And if you're new, if you don't know who I am, my name is Vijil Bose. I'm from Let's Connect Show on KONNECTiN. We do product reviews, also provide live streaming tips and strategies to help you create professional looking live content. If you have a skill, if you are representing a company, and if you want to know more about live streaming technologies or any strategies or any tips, you may want to consider subscribing to our channel and click the notification icon so that you will not miss any single content that we do in the future. Sometimes you are representing your own company and you wanted to reach your audience, and create more impact, and you have no idea how to get started on live streaming, and that's something that you are interested, then you may want to check us out. And I'm sure that you will learn a lot about live streaming technologies in general. And I have a quick update also, because since we started in August, we were on a weekly schedule. We were doing one show per week, but since September, we increased that frequency from 1 to 2 shows per week, actually, and we also had to change our schedule. We started out with Mondays, then we changed it to Wednesdays, but now we are changing it again because of the logistical reasons and based on my availability. And we will be coming live on Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m. and on Thursdays at 8 a.m. So these are the 2 days that we will be live on a weekly schedule going forward. And if there is any change, we will be communicating to you in advance. And one of the things is actually we wanted to do a live Q&A sessions per week on a weekly basis. So one of these shows is going to be converted into live Q&A sessions until we have more people joining us for that session. All right, and thank you, Andrew, brother. And we're doing great. Thank you, Nikki. Thank you, Maya. And thank you, Karthi, for joining this live show. I'm sure that you're going to learn something new today. So that's the recap. That's the quick update about our schedule, and so that's it. So let's get to the interesting part, the demonstration part. Okay, how we can create overlays. All right. Hey, Andrew, brother. Yes, I'm doing great. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you for joining the show. All right. So let's get to the demonstration part. Before we get to the demonstration part, actually I just wanted to show you the live demo mode of the Ecamm Live, so that I will quickly go over the overlay support so that you know what I'm talking about. All right, I'm going to be changing this into live demo mode. All right, so now you can see what I'm doing. See, under overlays, actually there are 5 overlay support: a new image overlay, new animated overlay, new text overlay, new countdown overlay, new widget overlay. So we will be using all these overlays in today's demonstration, even though our focus is going to be adding custom overlays using Canva tool. Okay, so now let me actually switch back into the actual show and go into the screen share mode. Okay, and that is actually my stream. Now this is actually a Canva tool. It's the online designing tool, and it's a very powerful tool. If you're not very well versed with Photoshop, and Canva will be a good companion for you to create all designing. And I think I've been using Canva for many years. I think, and I started out as one of their early supporters of this designing tool. Anyway, so let's go into create a design. So what we have to do is we have to click on create a design. I'm going to create a custom design. So our overlay is going to be, our resolution is going to be 1920 by 1080. So that is the typical high definition dimension for your video. So I want the overlays to be placed on our video source. So create new design. Now we want something, we'll pick some templates right from here. Okay. So pretty much all the marketing, all the designing that I do using Canva tool, and they have got a fantastic templates. So now I'm going into the background. So I needed some background. So I'm using this background. So I'm fond of blue color. So I'm using that as a background. So now let me go back to the templates. I want something like this, and I want the overlay. So I want this to be, and I want the background. So there you go. I don't need this. I don't need this. And I want this. I also like to have some texture on the background. So I don't want this much transparency. I'll reduce the transparency to maybe 10. It's just very very minimal stuff. And I will duplicate this. Command C, because I'm using Mac. So if you're using PC, it's actually. By the way, it's Ecamm Live only runs on Mac, so Command V. There you go. Okay. There you go. That looks good. So this tool is also very good for students. If you are actually students and you wanted to do some designing work for your project, and this is a very good tool. And Canva is also, I think you can start an account free, but if you really want some professional stuff, you can actually get a Canva for work. All right, now, so first we'll start out using a countdown. Actually, you wanted to create a countdown timer. So I also want an overlay with an iPad, and I have not done this before. So let's see. Okay, we can actually, oh, I think okay, an iPad. Okay, we'll use this one. How about this? I've not used iPad as a countdown overlay, for my streams. So this is going to be something new that I'm doing for the demonstration purposes. And by the way, if you're using, there are host of live streaming applications out there, and one of the popular ones is actually it's Ecamm Live on the Mac environment, and the other one is actually a StreamYard. If you're using StreamYard for the cloud, this overlays, I think you can also upload these overlays to StreamYard. And StreamYard is a cloud-based live streaming app. Actually, you don't really need any, computer with the horsepower. You can use any low-end PC actually to use a StreamYard. All you need is a browser and internet connection. All right, so now, so that is it. So now, so Canva, so when you go to download, we're going to download it as a PNG, and PNG works very well, especially for the internet. Now there is a couple of options here: transparent background and compress file. I don't want to compress this file anyway, so transparent background is mainly for if you really want this background to create a transparency, that is what you should choose. But here I don't need to choose the transparent background, so I wanted to download this just like this. Okay, all right. Okay, let me get out of a few of these tabs. So now I have to go into my downloads. There we go. This is the one. Actually, I also need to use Photoshop for just one thing, because you see that the white section of this area. This area, Canva doesn't allow me to create transparency for this area, because this is where we're going to be showing our video image. So, and for that I need to use Photoshop, or any, there are other tools also, because when I happen to have Photoshop, then why not use it? And I'm using Photoshop. So there you go, Photoshop is actually opened, and I'm only using Photoshop just to create the transparency in that. There is a tool called Magic Eraser, and that's all I'm using here. And just one click, it creates a transparency for me. And you just save this, and going back to the there you go. It creates a transparency for me. All right, now I'm going to transfer, because this computer, the one that I'm actually doing this, is not the computer that I use to do the live shows. So I need to transfer this to my laptop from where I'm actually using Ecamm Live. So I'm using AirDrop. So I'm airdropping it to my MacBook Pro. There you go. I'm actually going to bring it here. Now let me go to the vanilla video source, no overlay at all. No overlays at all. So let me actually bring this. So now Ecamm Live, the overlay that I am actually trying to bring in is actually, it's if you go under the overlays, this is going to be an image overlay. Okay, so we click on image overlay. Actually, you know what? Let me go back to. Let me turn this into live demo mode again, so that you will see what I'm doing. Live demo mode. Now, under overlays, there are, like I said earlier, there are 5 options. But the one that I'm trying to bring into Ecamm Live is actually, it's an image overlay. So there are a couple of ways you can do this. You click on it, you can actually navigate to your drive and locate that file, or or you can drag it from the your Finder window to Ecamm Live's main video source. There you go. And this is the typical overlay that I just created. Now you see that my video image is actually placed inside that iPad. So now my goal for today is actually not only creating this overlay, I also want to create a countdown timer. How do I create a countdown timer? Now you're going to look at the overlays. There is an option called countdown overlay. So that is the option that I'm going to be choosing, a countdown overlay. So here, for demonstration purposes, I'm going to be choosing, this is actually the duration here, and this is the text. Text style is here, and you can actually choose what color that you wanted to choose for these this timer. So timer, I'm going to choose for 10 seconds. So 10 seconds. No. Or 10 seconds. And actually for demonstration, I think we'll start with 10 minutes because I need a little more time. What other resources can you use other than Canva to create your image? Well, you can use Photoshop. Photoshop is the tool that you can use to create overlays. But then, if you're using Mac, there is a tool called Keynote. Keynote is the PowerPoint equivalent in Mac environment. You can also use Keynote to create overlays. I use Canva a lot, so I thought, okay, it will be cool to show you Canva as a tool to create overlays, because it's so simple to create overlays within Canva. So now I am creating a countdown timer. There you go. So now you want a little more bigger, you can do that. Now I also want a text overlay. So let's create a text overlay. So here, say the show starts in So I want to reduce the font to maybe small. Okay. You've probably seen this one in the beginning, right? The countdown timer. There you go. So now you have this text overlay also. So now we can add animated overlay on top of this. Let's see how that works. So there's an animated overlay here. So I already have, you know what, let me get, there you go. Where did it go? I want to unlock the scene so that I can actually drag it. I want it to be available for all the scenes. Okay, so now there is I'm trying to see. let me bring in another one actually. So if you want another overlay here, I can actually bring another overlay here. So that's easier one to do that. There we go. If you can have an animated overlay like that, you can actually bring an animated overlay like that. That is an animated overlay. So let me actually remove the live, actually get me out of live demo mode so that you can actually see it better. See that animated overlay there? So that's actually its animated overlay. So actually I can actually loop through, also loop it. And one other thing is actually I wanted to go back to the live demo mode. Now there's one little thing that you can do is you edit that timer, and there is a checkbox here, go to next scene when finished. So when the time has passed, actually it automatically advances to the next scene that you have within the configured within Ecamm Live. So that's what we want to do. Go to next scene when finished. Okay. So now I'm going to reduce it to 10 seconds so that it will quickly, or maybe 5 seconds. Did I do that? Yeah, I did that. Oh, you know what happens actually is these overlays, by mistake I added it to all scenes, so I don't want it to be part of the all scenes. So let me remove that. Rampant. I only want it to be in part of the current scene. So will I image through 2 images instead of 1? Yes, we can. Actually, I'll show you that. The next one, we can actually through 2 images instead of 1. Yes, it's possible. Just 1 second. Let me actually remove some of the things from here so that this one should not be part of this. I want it to be this one only. So now, all right. So now I'm going to edit this again to be 5 seconds. Just a second, I wanted to see. There you go. That is C1. Did I do it? Yeah. Save this. So it should actually automatically advance it to, there you go. It actually advances to the next scene. So let me get out of this live demo mode so that you will see better. Actually, Karthik asked 2 questions actually. What other resources can you use? I answered that question, and he is asking a second question. How is it possible to overlay your live image through 2 images instead of 1? Actually, that is true, but I think, you know what? It is doable, but actually you don't really I don't see a reason why you would want to put your video source on 2 different images. But anyway, I'll show you real quick actually how you can actually create a PIP. PIP means actually picture in picture, so that you will have a better understanding of how you can do that. So let's actually go into demo mode. Go back to the Canva. So now I don't want this, so I'm going to change this. I'm going to create a PIP. I'm going to name PIP. Okay, PIP. So in Canva, there is a panel on the left side called, there are different sections here. Templates, uploads, photos, elements, text, styles, music, videos, background, folders. So I'm going to be using elements actually for adding a couple of pips. Pips means actually it's a picture in picture. So this is actually very useful if you if you're trying to bring in a guest. So you may want to show them show their image in a box, right? But there are other instances where you would want to use a pip. For example, if you wanted to show a graphic or maybe something on the side, maybe a pip would be beneficial, because what you see now is actually a pip, a picture in picture, because my image is actually there is a show starts and as a countdown. I don't want that to be part of this. I don't want this to be good. All right, so now I'm going to create a pip. Yeah. Okay, so here I'm going to create a pip with the color white so that we can easily cut out that section using our Photoshop. All right, so that's good. That's good enough. So now I'm going to download this as a PNG file and bring it into Photoshop so that actually we can we can actually, I brought the wrong one, so let me bring the correct one. Okay, there you go. There you go. So you save this, Explorer. Now I'm transferring this into my Ecamm computer, so that I can actually use it here. So now let me go back into the second demo mode. It's actually, again, it's a vanilla screen. Now I will use a pip image. So look at that. So now this is actually is another so now, for example, you can use the other side. You can actually use it to display some graphical image. For example, I'm just showing an example. Let me again change it into dive demo mode so that you can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to bring in, for example, another image overlay. For example, I'm going to downloads. Okay. Let me bring in, for example, see, look at that. If you really wanted to, if you're doing some demonstration, if you wanted to, you can actually use this way to demonstrate that on your side. And while your image is on this box, and you can do that. So that's another cool way of showing your image on a pip. Okay. So so now another one actually is, so now let's go to the third one. Actually, I really wanted to bring in I want to create a guest overlay. For example, if you are bringing in a guest remotely into your show, and how do you actually show the guest. You want to show the guest in the box and your image also in the box. So that's something that that'll be a good example to showcase. So now I'm going back up here. So I'm actually using one more of this. Actually, let me go back to the demo mode so that you'll see. So I just created, I'm reusing it. I'm actually creating 2 boxes here so that there you go. There you go. Okay, so now I'll just create pipcast. So pipcast. So let me download this, making sure that this is all aligned properly. All right, looks good to me. All right, now let me download this PNG file. So now I downloaded it. As usual, I needed to open it in Photoshop. I'm using this magic eraser to remove the create the transparency for the 2 boxes. So this is a quick and easy way to create the guest picture-in-picture overlay. If you really want to create lower thirds, for example, if you really want a section underneath here and the end of this area of the box where you wanted to have their name displayed, then you have little more work that you need to do within Photoshop. So let's actually use a rectangle box here. So let's actually do that. So now, so use Command T is a command to select that section. And oh, that's it. It's slightly bigger, so we don't want that big. Is it too big? Okay, now the problem is actually it's my line is in dot, so I don't want the dotted line, so I want it fixed line, regular one. All right, so that is good. Looking good. One little adjustment. All right. Okay, so now, oh no, that's not really good. Still slightly. So what you can do is actually increase the percentage to maybe 200 to see this is better. So now this is actually doesn't look good. So that's what I would normally do. All right, that looks good to me. So now I just duplicate this rectangle. Use Command J in Photoshop to create this rectangle, and then so that's a second layer, and just transfer it to move to the other section. and that one I just selected, and a little more fine tuning is required here. Fine adjustment. Okay, that looks good to me. All right. The line looks good. Fine adjustment. Well, these things requires a little more fine tuning. I think I have the wrong one. Yeah. There we go. All right. So now let me bring it back to 100% so that we can see it better. All right. So now that is good. So now I just wanted to export this as a PNG file again, because I made some changes to the image, so I need to export it to a PNG. So pif PNG, replace it. There you go. And now I am going to double check this, making sure that it has got transparent. It is transparent. All right. Now actually let me bring it to my MacBook Pro so that you will be able to reuse it here. So let me use this window, and actually I'm going to bring it here. So now Karthik, actually now this is what you asked earlier. So now look at that. So I'm actually using a pip. So this basically it's two boxes, and my image is actually it's cutting across two pips actually. There are two boxes, but this is not the desired outcome that you want, because what we want is actually we want to bring in a guest, you know, and this is not an actually pip. So you need to actually change this to a pip. So what you need to do is just under options you go into the show picture in picture. Okay, so show picture in picture, because I'm going to actually, since I don't have a guest, I'm going to be using my second computer as a guest. Okay, and what you would do is you use, okay, there you go. And then there's one more option, one more thing that you have to do is you have to change the picture in picture shape to tall. Okay, and you crop it, and now this now look at, now I cropped it, so my image is actually cropped and fit within that box. And this is actually, second one is actually my another computer that I just use for demonstration purposes. Now we can actually add an overlay, a text overlay as a name, for example, Visual Boss. Let me add I wanted to show us in black, because now our lower third color is white. All right, so now actually I can show that here. There you go. Ideally, I don't like lowercase. I always use uppercase. And my typical font family is not Helvetica. Actually, go to Bebas, new. Okay, there you go. I want a bold one. There you go. That looks good. So that's how you create a pip in Ecamm Live. And there is one more thing I like to show you. Well, one second, if I think I can do that. So now we don't want this overlay. Let me remove this overlay. Okay. So now let me go back to the Canva. Actually, let me go to the demonstration mode. Let me get out of the live demo mode. So now we're back into the Canva world. Now what I'm going to do is, I don't need this box. I'm using this area. You see my, starting off my show. Actually, you see my video source in a little, little box, right? So you can create something similar very easily in Canva. There you go. So now you bring it here. This is going to be my main. I just download this. Now I download that. Bring it into Photoshop using the magic eraser. Create the transparency, save it. So now you go back to your Finder window and bring it into your MacBook Pro, where my Ecamm live is running. So now here, let's see if I can actually use this one. Look at that. So that is the, it's so simple. And you can create stunning looking, pips and overlays within Canva. Canva is a wonderful tool. And I use Canva for not only for creating overlays, like I said earlier, I use it for all my social media posts, my marketing, everything, marketing, the Instagram post, Facebook post, Facebook business profile page, everything I created, including the thumbnails for my videos. Everything is created in Canva. I don't really use Photoshop a lot. I only use Photoshop when I edit in Lightroom. When I edit a photo, then I use Photoshop to do the final touching. But other than that, I don't really use Photoshop for any other things. But here I have to use this Magic Eraser because Magic Eraser is a very simple and very sophisticated tool to create transparency in certain sections of the image. Canva out of the box doesn't support that. That's why I have to use Photoshop very, very minimally for creating overlays. All right, and that is what I really want to show you today. I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks to everybody who joined the show, and hope you enjoyed the show. Hope you got something out of this. And some of these overlays, actually, you can also use it in other live streaming app as well. I'm sure that it works in OBS. It's an open broadcasting software. If it's an open source, and this also works in StreamYard. So try it out, and let me know if you have any questions. I'm more than happy to answer that. And some of these overlays actually this I made it quick and dirty, right? So I'm going to be creating some cool looking overlays. I'm going to be uploading to our community network. It's called KONNECTiN Community Network. We launched that community network early this month in September. The idea for this community network is to create an audience within the network. It's a private only group. And so we can actually share some exclusive content within the group. So that's where I'm going to be creating some overlays and uploading to this community network. So people who join the community network will be able to download and use it for your own live shows. And that is something that I like to make it available to you guys. So make sure that you check us out, and you can actually check us out on our Facebook page. The Facebook ID is KONNECTiN Live. The Facebook page name is KONNECTiN. And when you go into the page, actually you can actually, let me show you real quick. Let me go back to the demo mode so that you will see Facebook. It's taking time. Facebook is always slow. I don't know why. All right, so now I'm going to my page, KONNECTiN, and you go under more groups, and this is what I'm talking about, KONNECTiN Community Network. Okay, so check us out, and feel free to join that community network, and so that we can actually, you can ask any questions, and we can create a knowledge base within that community network. And also we're going to be using that network to share some exclusive content which is not be available outside of that community network, you know. So that is there for you. All right, and unless you have any questions, you know, I will see you in the next one. All right, thank you, and thanks everybody.